Hey there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Louisville, Kentucky, and today we're going to talk about some of the different methods of budgeting that you can use to kind of budget for your communications, whether it's advertising, social media, the people walking down the street handing out flyers. You have to have an idea of how we're going to budget for this. So what I want to do today is kind of give you 4 different methods that you could use to kind of set up your budgeting for your communications, okay? And the first one I think we should start with is the give everything you can method, or the all you can afford method, all right? What this does, it looks at our cash flow and says, hey, what's left over? Like we have our costs done, what's left over? Let's take everything we have left over and put it into our communications. The idea being, if we just communicate more sales will happen, right? And sometimes honestly, all you can afford is all you can afford. You may want to do more. You may want to put more money into your advertising, but if you only have, a couple $100 at the end of the month, you only have a couple $100 at the end of the month to put into that advertising, to put in that social media, to put into that communications. And the thing is, if you're going to do this, all you can afford strategy, what you have to realize is your cash flow is based on your sales. So if my communication budget this year is based on my cash flow that I have now, well, if my communication increases my cash flow, then next year, do I use the same amount or do I keep doing everything I already have? So it can end up being like a vicious cycle where you just started doing more advertising on top of more advertising on top of more advertising and increasing the budget that way. So sometimes you're using that all you can afford when you do have limited funds, okay? Or maybe you just say, look, we want to promote this new product as much as we can. You can do the all you can afford. But what happens a lot of times is companies actually move into the next method, and that is looking at your kind of communication expenditures as a percentage of sales. So with this, you have to have your forecasted sales. We believe that we will have this much sales in the future. So if we're going to make $100 million in sales and I want to spend 20% of my sales on advertising, then I'm going to spend X amount of dollars on advertising and communications. And the thing is, with this kind of percentage of sales method, you have the same kind of issues as you do with the all you can budget in terms of the vicious cycle and keep going and increasing it or whatever. But also you need to look at it this way. Does your percentage of sales really represent what you want to do? Because I'm looking at percentage of sales of normal stuff, maybe I need to have a lot more to communicate our new product offering, or the fact that we moved our store to a new location. Well, for a restaurant, hey, we actually have curbside service, or we have delivery now, or we are online ordering. Like, you need to maybe have more than just your usual percentage. You might have to have a different boost because you're in a different situation, okay? So that's why sometimes percentage of sales is good, but it could be an issue as well. So the third method I want to talk about is called competitive parity, okay? So competitive parity, competition, equality. So basically what you're doing here is you're allocating your budget for communications the same as your competitors, okay? So your competitors spending on communications, you're going to do the same thing. Now, if you're at the same place as your competitors, or you feel that your competitors' success is based on their communication spend, well, then this can work. But the thing is, you're assuming that your competitors' sales are fully dependent due to their communications. It might be something else. They might have a different kind of product. They might have a brand that's worth more. They might have a celebrity that drinks their cranberry juice while they're riding a skateboard down the road. You don't know what it is. All right, so we really have to take into account, where is our competitor spending that money, okay? Because is that communication that they're spending it on having the impact, or is it something else? So just make sure you're actually answering the question, are you the same as your competition, if you're gonna do the competitive parity. Now, if you're not sure where you are or you wanna be like them, well, maybe you do model their behavior. That's why you have things like benchmarking. You benchmark, what they're spending. Well, then we should spend the same because we wanna be the same size. You can use that, okay? The thing is, all of these methods are different. They all have positives and they all have negatives, but it really comes down to the situation you're in. That's why sometimes we look at the fourth method, and that is the share of market or share of voice method. So basically what you're looking at here is you're setting your communication budget in some percentage of the industry's kind of total expenditures. So if you see your industry averages, okay? So, our industry averages spending 20% of sales on their communication budget. Okay, we're doing that. We see how the industry kind of splits up their money. We might copy that. it's very similar to your competitive parity method that's out there, but this one we're looking and thinking that the industry overall is correct. And so we're just gonna be like the industry. So if we're gonna try to be like everybody else, is that the right thing to do? That's why you have to really look and see and say, hey, do I just wanna be like everyone else, or do I need to do something special? Do I need to do something different? And that's why there's no one perfect way to come up with budgeting your communications and figuring out your budget. There's these different ways. And so take which one works for your company and works for your situation. So if you're a new company starting out, probably the all you can afford is the best way to go. But if you're a long time in the industry kind of stuff, maybe you're more looking at share of market method. So I just want you to have these ideas of how companies can kind of figure out the different methods of kind of budgeting out their communication expenditures so they have a better idea of where the money needs to go, or how we decide how much money we should use. Okay, so I hope this helps. You want to learn more? Check us out on our website at professorwolters.com. Bye.